What's up, you guys? Welcome to Creatively Uncorked. My name is Cody P. This is my art studio, or rather this is my mother's studio. But today I do want to talk about 3 ways that you can be creative even if you don't have an artistic bone in your body. Let's go. Creative, even if you don't have an artistic bone in your body, is don't be afraid to make mistakes. A lot of times we're actually raised to be very afraid to mess up. Everybody wants to be a perfectionist, and that's a good thing and a bad thing. If it's a life-threatening situation, obviously you're going to want to be careful, but in order to learn, in order to perfect some kind of craft, you're going to have to make mistakes. It is said that a good student will actually get 98 out of 100. But somebody who's truly a master, somebody who's truly great, will go for 1,500, will shoot 1,500 times and make 500. So they have a lower ratio, but they're not afraid to make mistakes, and they've actually got more points overall. Some of my favorite recording artists, Tupac or Prince or Biggie, or some of the painters over the years that we have discovered their art. After they have died, they just spent time in the studio creating, and we only see the good stuff that they produce. Well, after you produce so much, even your regular art that you just throw out there is going to be top quality. So don't be afraid to make mistakes. If it comes to something like photography, you can take another picture and you can get that shot lined up just right so that it's perfect. When it comes to painting, you can just paint right over it. If you make a mistake, let it dry, go back over it, or you can even gesso the whole thing and just start right over again. If it's something like music, well, or a sport, you're gonna want to practice, and don't be afraid to make mistakes there until you get it right and figure out the right way to do it. That actually leads me to way number 2 that you can be creative, even if you don't have an artistic bone in your body, is practice. Hustle. Love the hustle and experiment. Got news for you. Nobody has the answer. Nobody knows the perfect way to do things. And it's going to be up to you to practice, and experiment. Let me start by saying I was not a painter when I started this job. Actually, I was the worst. Some of my old art is still up in my apartment, and maybe I'll try and get some on the screen for you guys. But if I can do it, anybody can do it, I promise you. So what do I mean? Practice. Well, I spent a lot of sleepless nights becoming a painter. I would actually fall asleep at the Moorhead studio waiting for my paint to dry, and then when I would wake up, I'd be in a mall like, oh my gosh, but I wasn't afraid to practice. When it comes to loving the hustle, hey, I spent so many hours just editing photos, and experimenting. Practice. Love the hustle and experiment. Nobody knows the right way to do something. It's going to be up to you. So what do I mean by experiment? Well, when I was actually doing a lot more photography, and now that I'm doing video, I'll find myself on the screen wondering what I like about a certain image. How do I want that person to pop more, or do I want them to kind of be one with the environment? Or where do I want the eye to lead? Do I want a little more exposure here? Is that too green? And I'll just be messing with every single slider, with every single preset, until I find something that I would like, and I think that you can do the same. Whether it's not knowing what you don't like about your painting, just look at it for a while. Take a step back and say, hey, actually I want that tree branch to be a little bit thinner there, or maybe my white balance is a little bit off in this photo. Just mess with sliders, add reverb to your tunes, jump a little bit different with your jump shot. Just experiment. Nobody has the answer. Hustle. Practice. Love the hustle and experiment. And then way number 3, you can be creative even if you don't have an artistic bone in your body. This was major for me to find out. I love quoting famous people, But this one, I actually had to find out on my own. It is be married to the message, not the medium. That's heavy stuff. I was actually a progressive metal guitarist. I was in a band for about 5 years with my best friends, and we were able to practice, hustle, and experiment, and we came up with a progressive metal band. Really experimental, but here's the thing with that, is because I was married to the medium, I was so stuck on wanting to be a progressive metal guitarist. There's so many pop artists in the world who actually, because I was making metal, I would hate on them. I would say, oh, they're just using 4 chords, they're so simple, everything about them is easy, and I'm better than that. So because of that, I had kind of a superiority complex, thinking that I'm doing it the technical way, I'm doing it the hard way, and I'm better than them. Well, actually, that really led me to being stifled, always wanting everything to be perfect. I was afraid to make mistakes, which was rule number 1 here. You have to be able to make mistakes. And because I was married to the medium, I wasn't able to reach a whole lot of people. Progressive metal is kind of a small niche. It's kind of a small audience, market that people aren't really going to respond to unless they're into that sort of thing. So if you're wanting to reach a lot of people, well, maybe you may want to expand your medium a little bit. Furthermore, I'm not the most creative painter, actually. Very few of these original paintings around our studio are mine. But the way that I am creative is I'm a creative teacher, I'm a creative communicator, and I can break things down in a really simple way for our painters to be able to understand. So even if I'm not the greatest painter of all time, I'm still a creative communicator, and because of that I can complement the art. So don't be married to the medium, be married to the message. Know about yourself, what it is that you want to say, what it is that you want to accomplish. Even if you're not a painter at heart or a musician at heart, maybe you could be some kind of sports and reinvent the way that they do the jump shot. But you guys, you need to be married to the you need to be married to the message, not the medium. Figure out what it is you stand for and go for it, go for it, go for it, and get it to as many people as you can, however you can. Be married to the message, not the medium. And last, I really want to thank you guys for tuning in. I've dropped a couple of links below. One, if you really want to see kind of what we do here at Creatively Uncorked, I made a cool little montage of one evening's painting here at CU. You can give that a look. Check out the Creatively Uncorked website. If you're having a tough time getting creative, you can come on in. And furthermore, down below, I've also dropped a link to some of my old music that I used to make if you're interested in hearing where I come from, where my background in art is. And then, last but not least, if you are a caretaker, if you're a mother of children, or if you have people who you're always taking care of, or perhaps you work in an office job and you're always doing things by the book, by the number, on a grid, things have their place, they need to fit there neatly, but you're having a tough time expressing yourself, I do want to recommend Creatively Uncorked. We're going to walk you right through any painting that it is you want to do. It's actually pretty easy when we show you how. Even I still get scared by some of the new paintings, but I promise you, if you come on in, we can get it done. Thank you guys again so much for tuning in. Drop a like if this is something that you're interested in. Of course, hit that subscribe button and let me know that this is the type of content that you want me to keep releasing, because I've wanted to talk on these things for a while, so it's about time that I get myself out there a little bit. See you in the comments. Thank you guys. We'll be back. Sometimes you just gotta take a sushi break.